It's not good to see all you guys again. We wanted to do this summer press conference to kind of catch up on stuff. And, you know, people were asking me all the time, how are you feeling about things and last year and this year and the players? And you all know we won the national title. We did that tour. I had to do a thing in New York, and after that it was over. Rearview mirror was taken out, moving forward. I would tell you the same with this season. You learn from each season. For me, there'll be a time to smell the roses. It's just not right now. So you move on. There were many things that happened that were good last year. There were many things individually for players that got better. I had a call last night about Nerlens. Nerlens should have come back one more year. The growth that he made in a year offensively was so unbelievable that if one more year of that, he'd have been I said, yeah, why don't you talk to him, see if he can change his mind, maybe. But you think of Willie, you even think of Archie, and here's the other thing I want to tell you. It's not just did they get better, did they learn about themselves? Because sometimes you learn about yourself in a season, are you ready? Marcus T, and you change it in the season. Sometimes you can't, they're just too young. They learn about themselves in a season, know that this isn't going to work, they change, and they get better. So part of last season was the beginnings of success for the coming year. So when I look at it, you know, there were things that I wish had been different. I wish Nerlens didn't get hurt and maybe guys got it and changed during the year, but it doesn't happen that way all the time. And as we move forward now, what we're about to undertake has never been done before. Trying to put teams together like this, where you're talking a big number of players, whether it be the Lakers or Miami Heat, it takes time. There's a learning curve. There's a galvanizing process that we have to go through. And you know what? We're going to have to be patient. You know, we were somewhat patient our first year. Everybody, people in this room were patient. You know, we start 9-7 that first year. It was 9-7, 11-6, whatever it was, and we all dealt with it. You remember me saying we weren't an execution team that first year? We just weren't. And we also knew if we had a bad shooting night, we could get knocked off in the tournament. It's exactly what happened. You go 0 for 20 from the three-point line. Well, this team is different in the numbers that we're bringing in. So we're starting Monday as a staff. We're going to have a 2-day retreat. And what we're primarily going to be doing is, what do each of these kids need from us? Because every one of these kids we're bringing in need to be coached, and they need something from us. I'll give you an example. We had Michael Gilchrist. Michael needed something from us that was different than what Anthony Davis needed from us, than what Marcus Teague needed us in a different way. Terrence Jones needed something different than Deron Lamb needed, or Darius Miller. Be more aggressive. I mean, every one of those kids needed us in different ways, because it is about them. It is about players first. Well, this team we're coaching now with 8 new players, 4 or 5 returning players, each of these guys is going to need us in different ways. So the process, this galvanizing process, the patience we're going to need, we're starting on Monday. We need to say, okay, where are we going to go with this? What do each of these kids need? Because let me just say this, folks. They're a talented crew. We'll have a talented team. They need coached. Each individual player needs coached. They need direction. They need to be taught the level of commitment, the intensity, the will to win has to come out. The alpha males that we didn't have a year ago, I think we have, but those guys got to do that. They can lead, but they got to lead us in the way they need to be led. Michael Gilchrist, how did he lead us? Breakfast Club. What did he do in practice? Was unbelievable in his work ethic. What did that mean? 2 years ago, we did not have one bad practice. Not one. Last year, we had about 5 good practices. that I would say in my mind over the years would be the kind of practices I felt comfortable with. So those are some things to throw out. Let me do this, because I love to keep people waiting for their questions they want to ask me. I'm going to go through the guys, the 5 guys right now that will be on scholarship coming back. Willie Colley has a chance of being one of the better players that I've ever coached. Is not delusional at all. Understood how far he had come. Understood how far he needed to go. Understood he could have been a first-round draft pick. He knew. But he came back anyway because he wasn't delusional. You have Kyle Wilshire. Body's got to change. 6th man of the year has to get better physically. We all know what his skill set is. He has to take his defense and all those areas of his game to another level, which I think he will. My hope is he makes the national team, Canadian national team, and it takes his game to another level. Alex Poitras learned a lot about himself and where he's going to have to take everything to be the player that he wants to be. Now, let me say that. That being said, he would have been in the first round if he put his name in the draft. He knew he wasn't ready. And again, he was being pushed by some corners to put his name in the draft, but he knew. Again, it wasn't delusional. He knew, I have to change. I've got to take this to another level. If he does and the competition brings out the best in him, it is scary how good he's going to be. He's not close to where he needs to be. John Hood, by the end of the year, for the first time had a breakthrough. And I was excited for him. He was one of those guys that played, he had fun playing, he didn't feel the weight of the world on him, he didn't have anything to prove he went out to play. And Jared Polson ended up being one of our better guards at the end of the year. So those 5, only Kyle, in a small way, has tasted the success that we want and expect him. The others have not. When you talk about the guys coming in, Aaron Harrison, big guard, can score the ball, should be and will be and is expected to be and will be demanded to be a lockdown defender. With his size, with his athleticism, you know, 1, we can play a big zone. 2, we should be able to press because we're going to be so big with our guard play and whoever we put up there. But it'll start with Aaron. We know what he can do scoring the ball, but we want him to do other things and, again, help define his game. Andrew Harrison, my hope is by the end of the year, he's just like some of the other point guards we've had. You look at him and say, hey, he can do things that other point guards can't do with his size, his scoring ability, and both of them are terrific drivers, which kind of tells you that we're going to go back to a lot more dribble drive. I've talked to a couple of my friends. We're talking about dribble drive into pick and roll into dribble drive because of the team. Dominic Hawkins, a young man from in-state that just kind of blew me away with his will to win, his temperament on the court, his demeanor in helping his team win a championship. You always want to coach guys who understand by winning a state championship and being down 16 2 games, it shows what a tough mentality. And what I just went through, I wanted a tough point guard. I wanted one more tough, physical, how about this? Not just fighting physical tough. How about mentally tough? How about not break down? How about I'm bringing it? And I'm not afraid to be 16 down, and it has no effect on me. That's what I saw in Dominique and why we recruited him. Dakari Johnson, I watched him 2 summers ago, folks, and I'm going to tell you, he had a knee issue, and I looked at him and said, I'm not so sure. And then I watched him a little bit later, and I said, wait a minute. And then I watched him later in the season, could not believe it. The line of improvement for Dakari is like that. He's a kid that will get up 6 in the morning and work out. He's a great student. He does all the things, and he wants to be better. He was on a team that there were times he wasn't getting the ball, never said one thing, ran that court, posted up. When he did get it, he did good things. He's got great skills, and he's 7 foot tall. Marcus Lee averaged a triple-double for the season. Like 11 blocks, like 15 rebounds, and 18 points. Pogo stick, active, high energy, 6'10", 6'11", long armed. I mean, another player who, again, wanted to be here. These kids all wanted to be here. This is where they wanted the challenge of this, and they wanted to do it together. So when you look at Marcus Lee, you'd say, well, he could have gone. He didn't want to go. He wanted to come here and take on this challenge. Julius Randle, truly a hard worker who can play multiple positions, who can play inside and out. He's a beast. He's an alpha beast who will drive the team. Has a little bit of Michael in him in a different way. In my mind, there are good players out there. He's as good as any of them. Derek Willis, 6'9", 6'10", long, skilled big man from the state. Again, where his game goes, he wanted the challenge of this. I want to go every day against players this good to see how good I can be. Isn't that the greatest part of this? I mean, it's not, well, I want to go here so I can be the guy and the only man. I want to go here and be challenged. How good can I be? And the only way I'm going to find it out is going against the best. And I'm going to go against the best every day. Well, he's got a chance of really being good and being special. And then James Young gives you that 6'7" wing who flat can shoot the ball. Some of the issues, again, we shot a high percentage. I mean, when you looked at our numbers from last year, our defensive numbers, our shot blocking numbers, our offensive percentages, you would say we should have won more games. But we weren't as skilled as we needed to be, especially at crunch time. We weren't as skilled. We weren't as physically dominating as my teams in the past. This team should be. Now, that all being said about all those players, them individually, us coaching each individual player. Now, you're talking 13. It's not coaching 7 or 8. It's going to be a challenge. To bring that many together, really going to be a challenge. The galvanizing part of this will start this summer. We have some other things that we're going to do as a team that I have not done in the past that I think will help this team come together. Some of it is, watch some movies together. Some things of teams coming together. A team, what they had to do to sacrifice for each other. More than any team I've had, shared sacrifice is going to matter in this group. And they knew that coming here. I told every one of them, if you want to shoot 30 balls a game, you don't come here. If you want to be the only guy that's playing, that's the one guy everybody's talking about, you wouldn't come here. So I think, again, it's been laid out for them. Now the question is, will we all have the patience? Will I have the patience? No choice. It may be ugly early, and we're playing good teams early. Through January, we may not be a very good team. The point is, by the end of the year, we have the talent, the size, the toughness, the skill set. How do we get each individual being at their best? How do we bring this team together? That'll be the challenge of this. All right, I'll answer one question.